Hey folks, again, joined here for a little special game segment with Assistant Sports Editor Alex Riley and Sports Editor Dan Spears. And this week we're going to play a game I like to call More, Less, or Equal. I'm going to ask these guys a question that involves a number answer, and they're going to tell me whether or not they think the answer is going to be more, less, or equal. So we're going to start with a season outlook first. New Hanover last season advanced to the state semifinals, finished with 12 victories. So my number for victories this year on New Hanover is 11. So do you guys think New Hanover will have more than 11 victories, less than 11 victories, or exactly 11 victories? All right, so we've got an equal and a less. Either one of you guys or both care to kind of explain your answer?
I think that non-conference schedule just kind of does them in. I don't think they can get as deep in the playoffs to get as many wins this year. I don't see it with what they've got coming. They have a lot coming back, but there's a lot of experience there too.
I'm with him. I think one less win in the postseason will add up to 11. So that's my push.
All right. Second question. West Brunswick running back Bubba McRae rushed for nearly 1,200 yards as a sophomore. Last season had some injuries, only had close to 900. I'm going to put the number for his senior season at 1,300 yards. Do you think Bubba McRae will have more, less, or exactly 1,300 yards? Okay. Both of you going with less.
He's their workhorse, and I do think he's going to have a great season. I think he can eclipse the 1,000-yard mark as long as he stays healthy, but I see him more around the 1,100, 1,200-yard mark, somewhere in there.
Yeah, they just play a good schedule too. I mean, it's not like they have any rollovers on their non-conference. They play South Carolina teams three times this year. So yeah, 1,300 is a big number for a guy that might only play 12 games.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Moving on. Third question. Last year we had 3 teams, Walsh Rose Hill, James Keenan, and New Hanover, play in the state semifinals. We'll put the number this year at 2. 2 teams that from our coverage area that advanced to the state semifinals. More, less, or equal? Let's see your answers.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
I think Keenan and Wallace make it back.
I don't know who it'll be. I really don't. I would say Wallace would be the easy answer to that question, and as soon as you say that, you're wrong. But I don't know. There'll be two shake out of there somehow.
It always happens.
Yep.
All right, and our last question for the season preview. Pender County Schools, Pender, Trask, and Topsail combined for 8 victories last season. We'll set the number this year, combine all 3, 10 total victories. More, less, or equal? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Alex?
I really do believe that Pender's going to win a couple ball games this year. I think Trask is going to win a couple ball games as well, and I think Topsail could probably get to at 500 or better record, maybe 7-5. So I think at the end it might only be 12 wins instead of 10, but I think they are going to get more than 10.
Yeah, and I'm the one that thinks I think Topsail might struggle a little more than we think, unfortunately, and that's where the number will pull back. I'm with you. I think Pender will win more. I think Trask might win one more. And then Topsail's the one where they might have trouble matching up from last year. True.
Okay, now we're going to go into some week 1 questions, things that are just going to happen this week. Hoggard's got 2 quarterbacks, Bryant Sasser, Josh Jones. Last year against Holly Springs, they combined for 74 passing yards. We're going to set the number at 150 this year, combined passing yards between Bryant Sasser and Josh Jones this week against Holly Springs. More, less, or equal? A lot of differing opinions here. Alex?
You still have 2 good running backs, and it is Hoggard. That's what
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah,
They'll run it 50 times if they need to, and they won't be upset about it. So
I just feel like they're going to turn those 2 kids loose at some point, and in the non-conference is the time to do it, because I really think they want to figure out which one is the one.
I agree with you.
I don't think they want to keep riding this 2-quarterback system unless they're crazy, and who knows, maybe they are over there. But I think they're going to turn them loose. Perfect time to do it. Let's see who throws 3 interceptions. Let's see who throws 3 touchdowns.
Fair enough.
All right. Last year in the Wallace Rose Hill Laney matchup, Wallace Rose Hill scored 42 points. This year we're going to put the number at 40. Will Wallace Rose Hill score 40 points? Will they score more than 40 points, less than 40 points, or will they score exactly 40 points? Let's see your answers.
Does 38 count under 40?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's where I go. Then I'm going to under 40, but just barely.
I see something like 35 somewhere in there. I don't think they're going to kick. Well, they might kick a field goal. They've got an all-state kicker. So, but they're still figuring out a lot of things at running back, too. You lose those two type of guys, and, you got some talent back there. There's still some question marks for me. But.
All right. Ashley running back Bradley Plyler last year against White Oak scored 3 rushing touchdowns. He will again be the workhorse for the Screaming Eagles this year. We're going to keep that same number, 3 rushing touchdowns against White Oak. Do you think he'll score more, less, or exactly 3 touchdowns this week? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody?
If Caleb Parker was still healthy, I think it would be less. I think losing him for an extended period of time is going to limit what they're able to do with their offense. He was kind of an X factor coming from the quarterback spot to playing more of a speed guy on the outside. So I think that they're going to have to rely on Plyler a little bit more than they would normally if Parker was back there. So I think he's going to have to score 3 touchdowns.
I just think that game's going to be much more low scoring, and because White Oak's thinking they're better also.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that game, especially Jeff Turner, the defensive guy, I think that game will be 21-14 maybe, and the chances of scoring all 3 of your team's touchdowns in a 21-14 game, not high.
All right. And our last question. Last year, in the opening week of the season, all 3 Brunswick County teams won. South Brunswick, North Brunswick, and West Brunswick all came away victorious in the first week of the season. So this year, we're going to say 2. I'm going to put the number at 2. 2 Brunswick County schools pick up victories this week. More, less, or exactly 2. Let's see your answers.
Who does South Brunswick play this week?
Who's
West Columbus.
Who's West got?
West Brunswick has Socastee, and North Brunswick plays Whiteville. Okay?
I think it's pretty clear that 2 of those teams will win. I think the toss-up game is the North Whiteville game. I think that one's 50-50, and I think Whiteville might be able to pull out the win on that one.
Yeah, I took the optimistic side of things, and he took the maybe more realistic side of it. But I went with all 3 winning. So we'll see. Like you said, that North Whiteville game's gonna be fun though.
Yeah, it is.
That'll do it for this week. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And like I said, we're gonna do this every week. We'll have different people coming in to play games. Maybe I'll actually join in one week, but we hope you enjoyed. And make sure you like I said, you follow us on Star News Varsity, Twitter and Facebook, and make sure you keep picking up copies of the paper. Thanks.